Hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's another episode of Her Story on Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. My name is Miranda. I am one of the hosts here with Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, and I'm super excited on tonight. We have with us the amazing T. Marie Hannibal, and she will share her story with us on tonight. So get your wine, get your juice, get your water, get your snacks, and share this broadcast. Invite your girlfriends, invite your friends to be able to hear this amazing story on tonight. So tonight, again, we're interviewing T. Marie Hannibal. She is a Southside Chicago native and enlisted in the Marines in 1996. In 2003, T deployed as the only woman in one of the first units to Iraq. During her time in the Marine Corps, she served as military recruiter, league chief, operations chief, and as the Marine Corps diversity chief. In August 2011, she founded Operations Hero Connect, an organization partnering veterans as full time mentors for at risk youth. In 2012, T was honored at the White House by President Barack Obama for her work during her active duty as well as her off duty volunteer service throughout her community. Upon retirement from the Marine Corps, T went on to co star on Fox's American Grit alongside John Cena as the only military female expert on the show. This was the first national television role to ever spotlight a military woman of color, and she went on to co star in the Lifetime documentary What I Signed Up For. She also went on to found the clothing company Gritty Apparel, which empowers others by their bold graphic statements. Her service didn't end upon retirement. T was the National Veterans Chair for Women's March on DC. She went on to become a board member of Women's March DC and the founder of the National Veterans for Kaepernick movement against racism and racial injustices, along with being the author of the bestseller The Warrior Code, 11 Principles to Unleash the Badass Inside of You. She is the mother of two beautiful daughters, Destiny and Jasmine. Additionally, she is also a graduate student at Harvard University studying creative writing and literature. So now we're going to watch a short video on T. Marie.
American Grit as the only military female expert on the show and the first for a military woman of color. Next up, she co starred in the Lifetime documentary What Did I Sign Up For? And authored the bestseller The Warrior Code 11 Principles to Unleash the Badass Inside of You. As the National Veterans Chair for the Women's March of DC, founder of the National Veterans for Kaepernick movement against racism and racial injustices, always in service to others, is why T. Marie Hannibal is Cafe Mocha Salute Her Toyota American Pride honoree.
Ladies and gentlemen. So now we would like to introduce to you T. Marie Hannibal. Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a good day. It's Friday, the end of a work week. So we got,
Right?
and even in COVID-19, we still got to look forward to the weekends. We got those
Yes,
little
ma'am.
treats to look forward to. So I'm good. I got my Stella.
Yes, ma'am. I saw that post. I was like, yes,
I
ma'am. The
have.
Rosa is on deck tonight. Yes.
Yes, yes. And I've been waiting on this one. So
Which
this
one,
is
which
one.
one is that one?
This is the honey one.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes,
they
yes,
had a
yes.
honey one.
I've been waiting for
Okay.
this one. So this is the honey peach. This is like
Oh,
one of the new ones.
look, and then
I've been
you said
waiting
the
on this.
word peach. That's all you had to say was peach. That was it. That's all you had to say.
The honey didn't bring you there. The peach
Nah, the peach is the what brought me forward. It's like, oh, I'm going to get some. Okay, great.
did.
So awesome. So we are so grateful to have you. So we want our audience to get to know you a little better, and for you to share your amazing story and testimony. We just saw brief clips of your story, but we want to get a little bit more into detail on tonight. So share with us, how was it for you as a native of Chicago growing up as a young girl there? Tell us about your experience growing up.
Oh, my experiences.
Just a
Had
few things you
that
want to
that
share.
that mama, that Medea type of mama. So I had
Right.
the and when the street lights came on, you can only have 5 people to call your phone, and you
Right.
talk on the phone after 7:30. So I had that kind of stern kind of mothering as I
Right.
was being raised in Chicago.
So do you feel like you wanted to bust out of that? Because I know sometimes when people grow up with strict mothers in their homes, they want to bust out and just go buck wild when they finally get out of the house. Did you feel that way?
Uh, so I think I went buck wild before I was out of the house. Think at that age of 16, I started smelling myself, as they say, and
Hmm.
I thought I knew what I knew, and my mama couldn't tell me nothing.
Right.
I kind of broke out of my shell a little bit, and then I kind of landed me down the wrong path in life. So
Right.
that was my breakout.
So you were breaking out as a teenage girl. So is that what led you to want to be in the military? Now it's like, okay, I just got to get out of this house. So what made you make the decision to go into the Marines?
I think for me, a few things. Growing up in Chicago, I was exposed to a lot of the things that we see on the news, the things that we see play out in
Right.
movies and TV shows. And I started, like I said, staring down the wrong path in life. I was a gunshot victim at age of 16. At the age of 17, I was kicked out of not just one high school, but all Chicago public schools. So when you get kicked out of the whole school system, you kind of need to take a step back and kind of take stock in your life and where
Right.
you are potentially headed. So
Right.
for me, the military was an option to kind of be a part of something bigger than myself,
Right.
get out of the situation that I found myself in, and do something that I can make my mama proud of at the same time.
Right. I mean, that's always good that, I mean, so at such a young age, you said, look, I need to reevaluate my life. I need to make better choices. So you said you were kicked out of all school. So you were expelled, it sounds like.
I was permanently asked not to ever go
Permanent.
back to any
Oh, no.
public school system. And I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know if that's a first, but
Oh my
that is
God.
most definitely how I ended my
Right.
school rearing, so to speak, and kind of found myself in a military school.
Okay. So you went to military school and that led you into the Marines. So how was your experience in military school? How was that?
I was still hard headed. But now I think I had those kind of people in my ear kind of steering me straight. So in military school, it's kind of like boot camp. You have drill instructors, so to speak, who are there to kind of steer you straight. They get you up in the morning, you go PT, you go to breakfast. So you still have that regimented type of training in military school.
Right.
So because of that, I think that kind of kept me focused on what I was there for and kind of
Right.
kept me on the right path, so to speak.
Right. So military school, you're like, okay, now I gotta buckle down.
Yeah.
They're not playing with me over here.
Yeah, I can't keep doing this. I need to do something with my life, and what I'm doing now just ain't it.
Right. So what made you choose the Marines over like the Army or the Navy? What stood out about the Marines for you?
Oh, I always tell people nothing stood out. Like
Okay.
I was that South Side of Chicago kid who may have had the recruiters come to the high school, but I never paid attention to them.
Right.
I didn't know one branch from the other at that time.
Hmm.
My brother was a Marine, so I had
Okay.
that to kind of go off of.
Okay.
I remember going to the recruiting station and talking to my brother's recruiter who was there. He put me on this practice test and told me about all these amazing opportunities, and I'm
Right.
excited. And then I called my brother when I get home, and he told me not to. And
Oh,
he said, go ahead and go back to the recruiting station and go talk to the Air Force recruiter.
oh
So
wow.
it was kind of my brother
Mhm.
his own little don't do it mentality, you're not going to make it kind of words of wisdom that he imposed on this 17-year-old back then. They kind of made me do it anyway and do it in spite of.
Okay. So you kind of went against the grain and was like, forget what everybody's saying. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm going to try this.
Absolutely. Like, even at a young age, I'm still that type of, I got this. Let
Right.
me my way. So for someone to tell young T, you can't do this, you're not going to hack it, that ain't for you, that was automatic clearance for me to go in and give it my all. And
I'm
that's
going to go against the grain.
exactly.
I'm going to rebel against the system. Let me do what I want to do. So with you, with this rebellious spirit, you like, look, I'm going to do this anyway. How was that experience for? I know that you said you were like one of the first women, or in that deployment for Iraq. How was that experience for you?
Um, Now I will say this. I want to make sure I shed light on this too, because there's
Okay.
a lot going on right now in the news and the headlines.
Hmm.
Heard that sexual assault is rampant, because it absolutely is.
Hmm.
I am blessed because in that environment of being in a foreign country on foreign soil and surrounded with all these guys and being the only female, I was
Wow.
blessed. I didn't have any kind of issues in that. And when I say I was blessed, please believe me when I truly believe that, because seeing the horror stories, knowing the horror stories of what
Hmm.
happened, and to know that I made it through that deployment with not a single incident, I knew I was blessed.
Right.
For me, it was different. It was different because I'm no longer in the United States. That was my first time even being outside of the United States. I'm
Wow.
a little Chicago girl from the South Side, and I know that area. And by that time, I had come to know Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I had come to know California.
Hmm.
I knew nothing about being on foreign soil and the customs and the courtesies and the do's and the don'ts. And at that point, I think I was a single mom and I had my oldest by then. So just having to say goodbye to her was big for me, because this again the first time I had ever been apart from her. And at
Mm.
this point, she was 6. So that was
Oh,
really hard. She was in those horrible years. She was
right.
starting everything without me, you know. So that was definitely the hardest part.
Sure. I mean, you're leaving your baby now. She's by, with you left her with your mother,
Yeah,
or hmm
yeah. She got
so
to experience little Chicago style growing up.
right,
Mom and my sisters and my whole family just kind of banding around me and made sure that she was good and I had nothing to worry about except getting back home safe.
right, and I'm sure that was heartbreaking for you as well.
Blessing.
Right, especially leaving your baby behind. Now and then not only that, now you're going to a place, foreign soil, out of the country. You're the only woman, like you said, blessed. It was such a blessing, and we're grateful that didn't have to experience all of those horror stories that we're hearing about now in the news. And so that experience, how did that experience change your life as far as how long were you there, first of all? How long did you stay out there?
I was there 6 months.
Okay. So how did that experience change your life?
I think it taught me an appreciation of the freedoms that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, we still in America, so we still missing a lot of freedoms. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it gave me an appreciation of the little things that we have here that we take for granted every day compared to what they have and what these kids have. And every single day, I remember the kids running up to us on the vehicles, to the trucks, and just wanting water, candy, whatever we would give to them. So it definitely gave me a better appreciation for where I was in life.
Right. And just for the basics in life, when they're
Exactly.
asking you for water and different things like that. Wow. So,
Bathrooms,
wow.
real toilets.
Wow. So just everything just made you appreciate. I'm just thankful to be an American or just to have the luxuries that I have. We take
Yes,
those for granted. I believe we take those for granted sometimes. So it's just awesome. I guess it's sometimes these experiences humble us and make us appreciate what we do have.
you're right. It does.
Yeah. So after that experience, how long did you stay in the military after that? Did you come you said you were there for 6 months. So after
Mhm.
that, what happened after that? You came back to the States, and were you stationed to another base? Where were you stationed?
So after that, I came back to the States, like you said. I was still stationed in California on the West Coast at the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, from then, I wound up having my youngest.
Mhm.
She's a little California baby. So she
Mhm.
was born in California.
Mhm.
And about 2 years after she was born, that's when I got orders to recruiting duty. So I became a military recruiter out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
And how was that experience recruiting young people like yourself?
That was a lot of being uncomfortable. Because as a recruiter, you are typically a salesperson for the military. And I say that you are selling yourself every time you go out in uniform because you're representing yourself in a place that may not know anything about the military. You are selling yourself every time you go into a school, a community college, a mall, even in Walmart.
Mhm.
So you get used to kind of being that spokesperson for the military. And for me, it became a way of kind of changing lives. You kind of want to find that kid that you can relate to and make the change because you see something in that kid and you want to give them the opportunities that you had when you first joined the military. So for me, it was one of those rewarding experiences, definitely uncomfortable because I don't think I've ever been a salesperson,
Okay.
but definitely rewarding because I got to meet these 74 kids and become their recruiter and put them through something that was going to literally change their lives forever. So that part was definitely rewarding.
That's awesome. So you said 74. So you had a number, you remember you recruited
Oh,
74.
I remember my number like it was yesterday.
So do you keep in touch with some of them still, or?
Yes, it is funny. Like I have their moms on my social media. They're
Oh
still
wow.
Facebook friends. I have the kids that I put in, and I call them my kids.
Wow.
even though they're grown men and women now.
Mhm.
And now seeing them lead the charge. Now I sit back retired knowing that, okay, you know what? I did good. The roof
Now,
was in good hands. They
now
got
it's your turn, right? So, did your daughters ever want to be in the military, or did they ever want to follow
it.
mom's footsteps?
So my kids are through and through military brats. Fathers, mom, military. And they've grown up in the military. Every duty station, they've been with me on my hip. Every new place, they've been with me on my hip. So they are the kind of kids now, or kind of young adults, I should say, that are pretty much done with the military way, and they just want to be normal for a while, and they just want to be grounded and get some roots for a little bit. And
Right.
I can appreciate that. So I don't think any of my kids would be going into the military, although I do have a niece who just joined the Air Force.
Oh wow. Okay.
Followed her auntie steps,
Yay.
military.
Nice. So I have, so many veterans experience different type of mental illnesses, after coming back, like PTSD and depression and different things like that, anxiety. Did you ever experience any of those things, or did you ever suffer with anything like that?
I did, and I do.
Okay.
It's one of those things that we don't talk about it enough. I think it takes someone highly, highly famous to kind of talk about it to make it more commonplace and more acceptable in society. Um, I have quite a few friends that are diagnosed with PTSD and suffer from depression. And it's a daily struggle. Some days are better, some days
Hmm.
are worse.
Hmm.
Um, but it's a process. I think what most people don't understand is that we've been kind of like institutionalized.
Hmm.
Um, we built a batterism, a daily schedule. We knew what to wear, how to approach, what to do from this hour to this hour. Every single aspect of our lives
Hmm.
planned out for us.
Sure.
So it's always a big transition when you go from something like that into a moving society that's different from what you left it. So when you left it, you were 17, you were 18,
Hmm.
from a 17-year-old, 18-year-old's viewpoint. When you're going back, you're 30 something. You're in your late 20s, your 40s, and you're going back into something that you've been a part of, but you really haven't been a part of that batterism because you've been doing your own thing here. So
Wow.
it's always a huge adjustment. And I always tell my civilian counterparts,
Hmm.
take your time with us. We're a little different. We see things through a different viewpoint and a different set of lens. So just thread a little bit lightly, And that's not to say that we're fragile, because I don't consider myself fragile at all.
Okay.
But I know different things may affect those service members that are transitioned now and are now veterans that may affect those that have never been in the military before. So it's
Right.
just a different animal. So be
Thank
easy
you.
a bit.
Right. And I was going to say what Kiara said, thank you so much for your transparency, because I never looked at it like that. Like,
Hey, Kiana.
I never looked at it like, wow, you're 18-year-old, 17-year-old going into the military, you have this regimented lifestyle. And when you come out, it could be 20 years later, and you're expected to fall back in line
Yeah.
like
And
normal.
just be
And you
normal and just know what to wear to work, know what
right,
to do and how to grasp this new way of life. And it
right,
doesn't work like that. There's no really good way to prepare someone for that transition.
right,
You can go to all the training classes, all the transition classes, talk to everybody you know that's already done it.
right,
The walk is different,
right.
and
So,
everyone's got to get through it at their own pace.
so what do you recommend as far as how to, as best as possible, for veterans to get back into a normal pace? What do you recommend? Do you recommend counseling, or, I know you said take it day by day, but are there other things that you may have done that may help someone else that's listening?
I think for me, I did counseling. I still do counseling.
Okay.
It's because I think counseling is a way for me to kind of deal with my own little demons in a healthy way. Because you don't want the other side of T to come out that hasn't had counseling. So counseling to me is a godsend. Having someone that you can kind of lay your problems down for a little bit and walk you through certain things and kind of tell you, you know what, you may be the issue. So having that is a godsend. I think for transitioning veterans, using all the resources you can find is what you need to do. And I can't say that enough times. Many times we get these brochures from the VA and this from the VSO and these, and we tend to throw them away. We glance at them, okay, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
those are free resources that are beneficial in so many ways to what you're going through now. So for us, is utilizing those resources. For everyone else that's dealing with us, it's just tread lightly. We don't need anyone walking on eggshells, so to speak, but just know that, things that may be commonplace. And I always tell the story of I had a conversation one time and someone thanked me for my service on Memorial Day. And to those who've never served, that's what they do. And I get it. But for me, it kind of humbles me more because I have brothers and sisters that aren't here. So that's not my day of recognition. So I say that to say to those civilian counterparts of ours, kind of tread lightly, kind of have a bit more of an understanding. If you don't have a veteran on your committee doing this or this committee or that committee, pull one in. You'll find that we have a lot of knowledge that should be shared.
Right.
But just tread lightly. And I know I always keep going back to those words. But yeah, that's the best way to kind of explain it.
Okay. So when you say tread lightly, what does that look like? Like, is this because I know you're saying don't walk on eggshells. So for me, when you say tread lightly, I'm thinking, oh, we can't say certain things around them or something like that. So, because I don't, I want to better understand. So what do you mean by that? Give us an example. Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of it comes in the education. So not everyone veteran that you come across, so to speak, has deployed, So
Mhm.
not everyone knows everyone that you know that went away to the military. The military is very small, yes, but not that small. Um, but understand when it comes to having someone under you, a coworker or someone that may work for you that has veteran appointments. Don't be that boss that's constantly nagging. Oh, here go another one. Guess you got to go to another appointment. There's a reason why these veterans are going to these kind of appointments. Tread lightly. When it's um, around that time of the year where it's Veterans Day and we may not be in the best of moods,
Mhm.
usually because we're remembering those that are no longer here. It's not that we don't want to be in the parade or we don't want to be in the assembly.
Yeah.
We just really want to reflect during this time
Right.
and
So
that
have
light. So just a
so
little bit of
having
the,
compassion.
yes, just understanding.
Sure. Thank you for explaining that. Just being able to have compassion for those and not looking down on or having some type of negative connotation or stereotype about
Yes,
what to expect, but just to be able to be there as a friend or just as a support.
absolutely.
So I just want for everyone who's just now joining us, we're on Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, and we're speaking with T. Marie Cannibal. She is an amazing woman of
Glad.
God. She has her Stella Rosa with her tonight. Peach Honey, if you all wanted to know. We are talking to her about her story as a veteran and some of the things that she's doing now, and just telling us how she got into the military. So if you're just now joining us, you may want to go back and watch the replay later because she's shared some amazing things. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you have questions for T. Marie, please put them in the comments. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We are so grateful to have her with us on tonight. So I want to move forward. As you know, you've gone to the military and you've done all these things. You're helping in the community now. You're a recruiter, and so how did you land the role in American Grit? Tell us about that.
I always go back and tell people about this crazy little email that I got that kind of looked like, hey, I am your cousin, Wazoo, here in Africa, and I need you to send me $50,000 in American bills. So it literally was that kind of email that kind of started this whole thing.
Right.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that beyond that email was the things that I was already doing in the community that even caused them to kind of take a look at me and
Hmm.
things that I was already taking place in.
Wow.
So at that time, I had already started Operation Heroes Connect.
Hmm.
That's my nonprofit, my other baby. I talk about my two daughters, but this is my third baby. This is the baby that every summer I'm ready to rock and roll with 100 kids and take them to camp for a week. So this is the big baby that keeps growing.
Right. So tell us a little bit more about that while you're talking about it. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So you see, I get excited when I talk about
Yes.
it to be. So I started Operation Heroes Connect when I first got stationed in Quantico. I had been used to dealing with volunteering with organizations such as Big Brother, Big Sister, Boys and Girls Club. When I got here to the DMV area, I found that a lot of these organizations wanted you to wait for like a year or a year and a half just to be a mentor. So I
Wow.
was sitting up in bed and I'm on my computer and I'm posing a question on Facebook. And I'm like, well, what if I started my own little nonprofit?
Hmm.
And people started chiming in. People started saying, oh, I help you. You should do it. What's stopping you? So all of these different
Wow.
chime-ins and everything got me thinking and got the wheels turning. And I started every day at lunchtime pulling up how to start a nonprofit, how to start a 501c. Um, I remember my corporal at the time was like, Gunny, what are you doing? And I told her, she's like, Gunny, I want to help. Can I be a part of it? And then
Wow.
it was time looking up stuff. And we started Operation Heroes Connect. And within a year, I remember being invited to the White House,
Wow.
getting to meet the president and getting to meet the first lady.
So
And
which president and first lady are we talking about?
and Newsweek magazine came along and wanted to do a spotlight on me and Operation Heroes Connect.
That's awesome.
And we just kind of grew, started doing the mentorship program, started doing the yearly summer camp programs.
That's awesome.
What started as 20 kids to camp each year for a week grew into 40 kids, which grew into 50 kids, and then 75 kids.
Wow.
Now we're at the space of being able to take 100 kids to camp here
Mm-hmm.
in the area for free every week.
That's
So
awesome.
that is what Operation Heroes Connect. Of course, with COVID-19 this year, we didn't get a chance to take any kids to camp.
Oh,
That is normally what we do, and that's what keeps the smile going even after the military. That's what tells me I still have a mission.
that is so amazing that you're able to make that great of an impact. And like you said, the community is watching, they see what you're doing, and you said you were recognized by the president. We want to make sure everybody knows it was President Barack Obama.
Yes,
And so,
my president. In case we were this was when my president was still in office, and yes,
yes,
recognized by my president, Barack
yes,
Obama, and my forever first lady, Michelle.
yes. our president, Barack Obama, and Michelle
Yes,
Obama. Yes, ma'am.
yes,
So this is awesome. You are recognized. So you're already doing these amazing things in the
yes.
community. You get the support. So now you get this weird email, like you said, like this,
Weird
like
email,
how back in
like,
the day you get this African email, send me $50,000. You're like, is this a
yes,
scam? So you get this email. So what's going on in your head right now? Like what is happening?
it's literally me reading this email and delete.
Oh,
And for some reason, and I tell people this, and I promise you, because I have been so prone to those kind of emails in my lifetime, there
right,
was a delete button. 2 days
right.
later, something made me reflect on that email.
Mhm.
And I went back into the little delete box, retrieved the email, recovered the email, and started reading it again. And it was so blah, it was so vague, and it was so, we need you, we want to talk to you about this amazing opportunity. Okay, what's the opportunity? We've heard so much about you. What have you heard about me? So that's how vague this email was.
Right.
So my response was pretty much a one sentence. What do you want? And then from there, everything started unfolding. They were able to, maybe they wanted to make sure I was T, so they didn't want to disclose too much information. But by
Oh,
the
okay.
time the email came back around, it started to make sense. Puzzle pieces started to fit, and it looked like it really was an amazing opportunity. And it turned out to be just that.
Awesome. And how long did you play on American Grit?
So I was on season one.
Mhm.
I ended up doing 2 seasons of the show.
Mhm.
Season one, I was casted as the co-star, and I played like the Jillian Michaels type character,
Mhm.
and myself, of course.
Right.
I was the military cadre who was leading these teams of civilians towards $1 million, as long as they went through these military style training evolutions and then went home that week. So we got to play alongside John Cena. I represented the Marine Corps, of course.
Yes.
And we had someone from the Army, someone from the SEALs. So we just had a great time, a great, great time.
It sounds like it. Yeah. And so you were able to meet a lot of different people. So were there civilians coming on the show and different things like that competing?
Oh, absolutely. I would say Team T, which is what my team was called, is like family to me, even to this day. I'll reach out to one of them, hey, da 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 da, what do you think about this? Or they'll reach out to something, hey, can you do this for me? Da da da. So it's like a family. Whenever I'm in their area, I make sure we gonna hang out, we gonna party, we gonna drink,
Yeah.
and we gonna have a good time. And then the same thing whenever they're in my area.
Right. And it's, I mean, it's like, wow, when I'm listening to your story, and I don't know if the audience is feeling the same way, this rebellious young lady from Chicago, and now you're making all these amazing connections along the way and along your journey. So when you look back on that and you're like reflecting on all of this, what comes up in your mind?
Uh,
Because I'm seeing this evolution, like this young girl who's just rebellious, and now it's like, wow, she's just,
for me, it's almost like that whole I can't believe I'm in this space.
Mhm.
I can't believe I've had all these amazing opportunities. So it's almost like it's that constantly pinching myself or um, kind of looking around and make sure this is really happening to me and not somebody else.
Yeah.
And then constantly wanting to do more. So I don't get too hung up here in this space that I forget I still got more things I want to accomplish before I leave this earth. So
Right. So many things to do, so many things to accomplish. Out of all of the awards that you and all the recognitions that you've had, is there one that you're most proud of? Is there one that you're like, I'm really proud of this particular one?
uh, so many. I would say probably one of my most recent ones, Community Activist Award in DC. That was very humbling. Um,
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Just being recognized for the things I do with speaking out against different injustices and the things I do with Operation Heroes Connect and the impact we're making there on the children in the DMV area.
Yeah.
That was definitely probably one of my most humbling because I knew about the award, but I didn't expect it.
Hmm.
And when she reached out to me and told me, it was almost like, okay, me? So it was those kind of moments.
Right.
There's been um, the USO Haskell Leadership Award when I was still on active duty is another one. Because in that one, my whole command was there, my family was there to share in that moment.
That's
So
awesome.
see it firsthand and not just see the pictures.
Right. You were able to celebrate with your family and your loved ones, right? So how you're constantly doing things like you said, there's so much to do. So now you've started this movement called Veterans for Kaepernick. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about that.
Okay, so it's not a recent movement. I think in light of what's going on, it's a movement that's probably gained a little bit more traction, so to speak.
Okay.
Movement that's been around when, of course, he first kneeled.
Hmm.
And the message was pretty clear, so I thought, and many other Americans thought, why
Yeah.
he's kneeling. But the picture that was painted was that of the disrespect towards the service members and the disrespect towards the veterans, those who had
Right.
fought for this country and
Right.
defended this flag. So for me, speaking out on his behalf and letting people know, like, no, what he's doing is for me as well. It has nothing to do, it was never about the flag. It was always about the rights of many who are forever and have been forever and unheard. So
Sure.
let him kneel.
Right.
This peaceful movement of bringing people to the conversation and bringing people to the table to have that conversation, freaking let him kneel.
Right.
I remember being on Twitter and the conversation was going, and I used to always get these little Twitter trolls. These people that come out of the woodwork have no real picture and have nothing to say, but a million
Right.
at me. So I remember posting something and posting myself in uniform. And then I remember tagging him and using the hashtag Vets for Kaepernick, we stand with you.
Hmm.
And that kind of started a whole tsunami effect. More
Wow.
veterans started tweeting, and more veterans started tweeting again, and retweets going crazy. And then a lot of celebrities started retweeting and sharing that same message. And in that moment, it was like, okay, I felt like I'm amongst people, my peers. I'm amongst people who understand that this is bigger than just him kneeling and people think that he's disrespecting a flag. Now I'm in the midst of like-minded individuals. All is well in the world again. So it's just that we've been active on social media with sharing our messages and what we think about the current state of affairs in this administration and
Right.
the current headlines and the movements and the Breonna Taylors. It's just been crazy
Right.
being able to really get out there like we want to because now we also have to fight a pandemic. So not only are we fighting racial injustices and wanting to take to the streets, but now we also have the pandemic that's keeping many people at home. And things are just going and on fire, literally, all around us.
Right.
So now for us, with this March on Washington coming to be, it just felt like the time was right to get a band of veteran coalitions and veterans and service members to really come together in solidarity and sharing the messaging that it was never, ever about the flag. It was about lives mattering that are not mattering at this time. It's about the message that's being sent from everywhere that Black lives are not mattering, that we don't matter, that things can happen to us that doesn't happen to other people, and it's swept under the rug or it's hushed. This is the time now that we want people to come forward. Use your voice, use your platform, whether it's big, whether it's little,
Mm-hmm.
come out, or whether you can virtually support us. Come on out August 28th and be a part of this. So right now, my time and my efforts have been towards getting us out there, getting us right behind the victims and the families of the victims that have been a part of these hashtags for so long.
Right.
Our voice is heard and to stand in solidarity for once.
That's so awesome. So I know you said it was August 28th. Can you give us just a little bit more information so if someone is in the area or they want to join or support?
Absolutely. If you're in the area or whether you're not in the area, just go to forkaepernick.com. So it's Veterans for FOR Kaepernick.com and you can get more information. August 28th is the date. We're meeting at the Lincoln Memorial. Showtime for all of us military people. It's going to be 0 dark 30. It's going to be 07 a.m. That is going to be the showtime. We realize it's very early than what maybe some of you are used to now, but it's definitely a cause that's well worth it and definitely a place that we need your voices to be a part. So again, veteransforkaepernick.com.
That is so awesome. So how important is it for our youth to get out there and to participate in things like this? I know you said you have two daughters. So how important is it for us as parents or aunties and uncles, cousins, or neighbors to really talk to our youth and get them involved in movements and organizations like this?
Oh, it's very important. I would say even working with the March on Washington and the Women's March prior to this, my daughters both them march with me. So it was very important for me, for my daughters to kind of see there and see what's going on in the world because in the future they are going to be doing what I'm doing now. Hopefully they won't have to. Hopefully they're not going to be called this kind of activism or feel compelled to do this kind of activism because hopefully everything will be a little bit different for them. We hope, we pray.
Hopefully.
But in the event, my daughters have been raised to understand you need to speak up. Now is not the time to be quiet. Now is not the time to be silent. Now is not the time to just give a simple like on a post as being a show of support. Now is the time to let your voices be heard, no matter what color you are, no matter what skin color you have every day. This is where you need, this is where you need to be, and this is where we need you, everybody, to show up. So I have to make sure that my daughters realize the importance of them showing up as well.
That's awesome. And it's so important that we get our children involved. And that's, like you said, make sure that their voices are heard. And that's so important right now with everything that we have going on. I know you mentioned you were a part of the Women's March. Was that something that was recent? Like, I don't know when it was, but give us some more information about the Women's.
Women's March was upon the new president, the current occupant of the White House. There was a women's march that took place in DC and various states and cities. Even worldwide, you had protesters and everyone's going out to the street and marching in solidarity. Being a part of the Women's March opened my eyes up more so to the fact that there are issues that are going on for all kinds of people, whether you're a woman, whether you're African American women, whether you're an immigrant or you're trying to do the right thing and now you find yourself to be in jail because of something as simple as a marijuana charge. These instances and everything that's played out at Women's March allowed me to see that, yeah, these issues are going on and they're going on in a rapid. There's so many things that's going on that we constantly take for granted. We hear news, we know that, okay, there's immigrants being sent back and we're trying to put up a border. But what are we really doing every day? So being a part of Women's March and Women's March DC really helped me to get in front of the Capitol, get in front of Congress, really helped my voice to be heard on these kind of issues. And being a part of Women's March kind of helped the segue into, I guess, maybe my activism a little bit more, although I was already outspoken way before Women's March. But it definitely kind of segued it a little bit more.
So if we want to participate in these types of things, Women's March and marches on Washington, how do we get connected with types of organizations in order to be a part of this?
So there's still Women's March. So you can go to womensmarch.com for more information. There are chapters in almost every state now.
Okay.
Lives Matter. There are chapters in just about every state. So get a part of, go on the website. Google is your friend. I always tell people, Google is your friend. If you don't know, use Google. But Black Lives Matter. Even if Black Lives Matter, the organization, may not be your cup of tea, there are so many other organizations that are standing for the equality. There's change.org. There's so many other organizations that are helping to be the voice for Black people, for women, for underserved communities. So whatever it is that you're speaking up against or speaking up for, there's organizations that can help you and put you in the right way so that your voice is heard a little bit more and you're making a little bit more of an impact.
Okay, and that's good. So if you're not already actively involved in the Women's March or Veterans March or Black Lives Matter or just some organization that matters most to you, uh, go online, Google, like she said, Google is your friend, search it, find your chapter in your community, and get connected. Get connected, be a part of change, be a part of what's going on out there. Let your voice be heard. I know if you are just now joining us on Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, my name is Miranda. I'm the host on tonight with the amazing T. Marie Hannibal. She is a veteran. She is a philanthropist. She is an activist. She is a mother. She has done so many amazing things. And we are speaking with her on tonight. We are getting to know her a little better on tonight. And she's just sharing her story and sharing her journey and what she is doing right now currently. So I know you've written this amazing book, The Warrior Code, but I also saw a post that you posted online, which really caught my attention. I was like, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. You said, I'm not ashamed of what I have been through. It may be TEA to you, but it's a testimony to me.
Yes.
So talk to us about that. How has your testimony, or is this book considered your testimony, and how is it helping people, or how can it help people?
I think for me, and I will tell people, I was hesitant in writing this book only because it was like exposing myself to so many people, to so much criticism, to the naysayers, to the haters, so to speak. But for me, this book was really therapeutic. It was really a source of therapy. It was so many issues that as I talked through the book and wrote through the book and edited through the book, that I had it dealt with, that helped me deal with some things as it came to pass. This book is my testimony, as you said. It kind of channels and follows my life through the south side of Chicago and those reasons that I got kicked out of all Chicago public schools to why I was forced to join the military school and went on to join the military and then some of those firsts in the military. And then coming through life after the military, about my transition. I talk about going through divorce and going through the pain of heartbreak, and talked about depression and how to find that self-care moment, even if it's something as simple as going to the store and instead of coming straight back, you take the long way around just so you can have that added music time. That song that is just a bop that you just bang your head to it. But those are the things I talk about in the book because those are the things that literally helped me overcome those instances in my life where I had to power through a lot of challenges and figure out how to get over that hump and how to get past that current situation. I won't say I ever had a easy life because I didn't. I had, like I said, a loving mom. I had a loving family, but I had a lot of troubles that went with that. I had a lot of things that was unresolved that I was dealing with as an adolescent that caused me to do those things and
Right.
the way I thought at that point in time. So
Right.
the warrior code is something for everybody. Whether you're a teen and you're experiencing some heartaches and you're experiencing some things and you're trying to put your best foot forward, but you're not quite sure how.
Right.
Or whether you're in the corporate world and you just want to fit in and you just want to figure out how to best be you
Right.
in that corporate world without losing face of who you really are. Or
Right.
you're in the military and you got those transition blues and you feel like the weight is on your shoulders. You got to make all
Right.
these big decisions. And now you're faced with the unknown and you're about to step into the unknown and you have no idea why you decided to get out the military or retired from the military.
Right.
And here you are. So, like I said, that book is something for everyone. Um, and I've had quite a few people reach back and say that book has helped them overcome some hurdles in their life and warrior through and find that badass inside of them again.
That's awesome. And so if you all want to find that warrior inside of you and to just unleash it and just be who God has created you to be, go out and get this amazing book, The Warrior Code. And they can find it on what, Amazon, Barnes and
Yes,
Noble.
anywhere books are sold. There's also an Audible version. So if you want to sit
Nice.
here and hear the Audible version instead of turning pages, there's something for everybody. I tell you, you make it easy. It's something for everybody.
Awesome. I love Audible.
Yes, Audible. I'm still a page turner, so I
Yeah.
haven't really grasped the Audible other than long car rides or
Right.
that. I'm still a page turner, but
Yeah.
no matter what your pleasure is, there's a book out there for you called The Warrior Code. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
your copy today.
Yes, please go get your copy. And we are just so excited. And we don't want to hold up your whole night, but we will ask you a few more questions
Okay.
before we let you go. So you have this amazing book. You're helping others. You're telling your testimony. You're sharing your testimony to help others to just get back on track. And now you have some businesses that you have going on. Tell us some more about your businesses.
I always tell people like when people ask me how do I do it, how do you juggle so much? Because I never sleep. I always come up with these wacky ideas and want to see if they're gonna happen. Um,
Right.
yes, I do have a few businesses, and it looks like we may be starting a new one.
Oh, wow.
Knock on wood, praying. We'll but yeah, definitely there is Gritty Apparel, which is my line that literally is just as in your face and bold as I am. So it kind of fits with who I am, and you see it once you go to the website. It's grittyapparel.com.
Okay.
It's again collections for everyone, whether you're a queen or a king, whether you're into the politics side of the house, or whether you just want some home decorations. We even got home decorations for you. So definitely grittyapparel.com.
Okay.
I started back in 2007. So now with the whole COVID, I'm kind of revamping things and changing things up, and it's never a bad idea to revamp. I've learned that through this whole COVID experience. It's never a bad idea to take what your norm used to do or used to be or used to look like and make it look like something else. So that's what I'm doing. With the Gritty Apparel comes the additional company of Soiled Beauty. Soiled Beauty is going to be a CBD beauty products. That website is going to be, and I'll keep saying it's going to be, we haven't quite launched yet. So
Okay.
Soiled Beauty, be on the lookout, is soiledbeauty.com. And we will be launching actually in 30 days. So pray for us.
Yes.
And it would be a line of CBD beauty products.
Okay.
To break that stigma of cannabis being this bad dare drug that we've been told to stay away from for so long,
Right.
look into the things that's good about the plant, the beauty aspects of the plant, the hemp portions of the plant, the things
Right.
that actually attribute to what we need in life.
Right.
So hopefully soilbeauty.com does a lot of that, breaking down the walls and breaking down the stigma so people can learn to appreciate to take care of their skin and
Hmm.
their self-care time a little bit differently.
That's awesome. And then you also have it on Facebook. You have a Facebook page, Soil Beauty, as well, and on
Yes,
Instagram,
so you
correct?
can follow us on Facebook, Soil Beauty, and Instagram at soiled_beauty, and kind of see what products we'll be coming out with and kind of keep up with us and our launch dates. So,
Yes, and I follow those pages, and you have some great information. Like you said, self care is so
yes,
important, and so just using those products and just understanding the products. And CBD, tell us a little bit more about that. That's not necessarily marijuana per se. So what is
no.
it? So tell us a little bit more about that.
So CBD is the extract of the plant, the cannabis plant. So
Okay.
regardless of what strain of the plant, the CBD is the extract that is not hallucinant. So it's not the THC portion of it. So the portion that for years people have been kind of putting on this list of this is a bad drug, don't do that. The CBD won't have any of the THC in there. So I know with the military side of the house, because I'm reminded that I come from the military background, there are still a lot of questions and concerns in regards to CBD products.
Hmm.
You know, they've been found to have no THC, no hallucinants, nothing like that. But if you're on the military side of active duty, there's still a lot of questions. So I would definitely make sure you run it through your chain of command and make sure it's
Yeah.
on the up and up before you try any of my products or any other CBD products.
Right.
For those who are not in the military, I invite you to definitely try out CBD products. Whether it's bath bombs, face masks, there's something for everything. So everything you typically do with your face, your body, your skin can be done with CBD extracts and can be done with hemp. So these products, they work so well in your skin, and they have been found. I always try to put the disclosure because we're still doing medical testing in this country.
Hmm.
They have been found to help with a lot of skin diseases, a lot
Okay.
of eczema, those who suffer from eczema, those who suffer from those rough and dry skins like myself. So I use CBD products religiously. That is my go-to. That is my, we talked about the self-care.
Hmm.
Bath bombs and wine. That is my self-care remedy for Saturday. When you've had that long week
Yes.
and you couldn't unwind on Friday night, Saturday, do your self-care regimen. And I tell you, you can't go wrong with CBD products.
Okay, awesome. And find them again on Soul Beauty, which is coming out in the next 30.
Beauty.com soon, and Facebook and Instagram for now.
Yes. So we'll check those out. And how can our audience get in touch with you if they want to connect with you or they just want to see what you have going on or what you're doing with various projects? How can they get in touch with you?
So on all social media, I'm there. So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, even though I'm more vocal on Facebook, my kids like to say I'm old school because I use Facebook before I do the Snap and the TikTok and all that other stuff.
Right. Right.
So you can get in contact with me at The Real T Marie, and that's on Instagram, The Real T Marie, Twitter at The Real T Marie, and same thing for Facebook at The Real T Marie. So the
Okay.
The Real T Marie all
Okay.
together.
So let me put this on here. Oh, she already put it on there. So it's already up. So there it is. The real T Marie on all platforms.
All
Yes, ma'am.
platforms. See,
All
she's
platforms.
on it.
Yes, thank you, Elena. She's on it back there. Thank you so
She
much. So,
is.
thank you. So the Real Tea Marie on all platforms. If you want to know what she has
Yes.
going on, if you want to know what she's doing next, please follow her. Go to Soil Beauty for the self-care products. Check out her book, The Warrior Code, and she has all these amazing things. The March on Washington is August 28th in Washington D.C. They're going to be meeting at 7 a.m. So if you want to be a part of that to stand with the veterans, Please do so. And
And again, I
finally,
know it's an early time because I've been getting there all day. When people see the 7 a.m., it's, oh,
right,
you do it later. Well, I didn't make the March time. And that is the March time. It has been set. So
okay,
it's an early time, but go to bed early the night before and come out and hang with us. Come out and
yes,
voice to a great cause.
yes, that's going to be amazing. So, do you have any tips or advice or any words of encouragement for our audience on tonight before we let you go?
I would say just always, and I think we've kind of nailed that over and over, that self-care talk earlier.
Hmm.
For me, that would always be what I leave people with. Um, you only have one you. So regardless of how you spend your time, when your time is done, your time is done.
Yes,
So this you needs to be taken care of. Before you can feed into other people, make sure you're feeding into you. So that self-care time has to be paramount. No matter if you're using the soil beauty products or you sipping on wine or you taking that extra 5 minute drive to listen to that old school new edition, you're
yes,
practicing that self-care. The amount of messages I get on Facebook, and I always welcome people to message me and reach out to me and just ping me. If you need something, I can help and I can be of assistance to anyone, I'm there. And and I don't know if it's because we're dealing with this COVID,
mhm,
so much depression is so much, what do I do? You're not doing enough for yourself. You can't continue to feed into other people if you're not feeding into yourself. So sometimes we learn that the hard way, and I've had to learn that the hard way by crashing and burning many, many times, and then having to put myself in check and feed back into myself. So I
yes.
leave you all with that, and great time.
Thank you so much. And this is what we always ask the final question. This is Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, and the word bougie is an acronym. It stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. So, what makes you a bougie girl on tonight?
Because I am unbothered. I am that. I don't give a damn what you think about me because you ain't paying my bills. You ain't doing that. You ain't financing me. I'm financing myself. So I am so unbothered by what other people may think. And I'm to the point of being unbothered that even if I have friends that do the little scuttlebutt talk and the,
Mm,
ooh, cow, you hear about, I don't even want to hear that. That's how
right,
unbothered we need to be in life. If
right.
it's not affecting someone in a positive way, I'm gonna be unbothered because it ain't my business.
Mm-mm.
You don't need to be in my business. And that ain't the business that pays me anyway. So I am the unbothered bougie girl.
Yay! So thank you so much for that. And so everybody be unbothered and take care of yourself. That is what
Yes,
she's leaving you with. So thank you, T. Marie. Don't log off yet. Thank you, T. Marie, for joining us on tonight. And if you missed any part of this amazing video or conversation that we had on tonight, go back and watch the replay. You don't want to miss it. It's a blessing, and it was a blessing to me. So again, thank you for sharing your story with us on her story. You all have a blessed night. We're praying for everyone. We pray your family is safe. We pray
yes.
you all are doing well, that you're protected. Stay in the house if you don't have to be out there. If you out there, wear your mask, take your vitamins, take care of yourself, and be encouraged on tonight. You all be blessed. Thank you for watching.